Hello, everybody, and welcome to Little Squid League number 17. I am Cater, and I am joined today by Cork.
Yes, I'm Cork, as Cater just said.
That is true.
And today we're going to be seeing Wave Riders versus Insquidious, which, I mean...
Insquidious instead of Insidious.
Oh, considering it's us, it's pretty good to be starting off the stream with a nice pun.
Oh yeah, definitely. You'll be seeing your fair share of puns in the next couple sets because it's us two that are on the mic. And you know what? What's better than a couple puns to start off a wonderful stream? We're gonna be beginning this first set on Splat Zone Starfish main stage, which not one that I see all the time. Actually, if I see Starfish main stage, usually I see it on tower control. So this one's gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting map. It opens up a lot of good sightlines for backlines from that snipe area, and because there's just so much open space across the entire zone, so a lot of good flanking routes. So it will be, all the teams are going to have to both pay attention to what's directly in front of them and look to their sides. It looks like we're going to be jumping right in too before we can even try to guess what weapons people are playing or anything.
Well, we don't have to guess because we're gonna see right now. We've got a remix on one side. Ooh, K Dynamo!
Booyah bombs coming out.
Oh,
both teams are running double booyah.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of that.
Actually, both teams have the same special loadout: double booyah, missiles, and armor. They're just using different weapons.
That's definitely understandable because as you can see right now, that zone is pretty much just a flat square. There's really nothing to stop the expansion of a Booyah Bomb like there are in the things in the middle of other zones. And oh, we're seeing the K Dynamo get a trade there. But right now we're seeing Wave Riders with the first cap despite being at a little bit of a player disadvantage here. And oh, that's going to mean a 3 down pretty much because one of them are just respawning. So we have that control flipping back to Insquidious with the armor pop as well. They're going to be able to push forward and take more and more of the turf that Wave Riders has laid out for themselves.
Yes, we saw Wave Riders get the initial push, but they didn't really have the specials to back it up, so Insquidious is going to be able to hold, hopefully for a bit longer. They did ride out Wave Riders' initial specials for a little bit longer, cementing their read, but as soon as I say that, they're going to go 3 down. Did that make a pod by accident? Is that why you're laughing?
Yeah, I did. You said ride out, like Wave Riders.
That was unintentional. Perhaps a bit cheesy of me.
That's just how good we are. But meanwhile, we've got Wave Riders in control of that zone. No penalty points right now, though they do have that K-Gal down. The K-Dynamo is also going to go down. You can see a Booyah on the zone coming out from Insquidious. Not quite going to cap the zone, and they do have 2 down. So that's putting them at a disadvantage. 2 down again. 3 down now, the K-Dynamo being the only one, and that's going to be really difficult. So they're likely going to have to stay back and wait for their teammates, as you can see them doing. Meanwhile, Wave Riders, so much turf control right now. That Booyah at the ready from the heavy splatting, as well as those missiles coming out. Booyah on the zone from the side of Insquidious. Not going to do much because it gets painted over almost immediately, and that armor too, with the zap going down, they're not going to have any more armor, and that timer is just still ticking down all the way past 20 right now. That Dynamo caught between a rock and a hard place, and although the cap managed to happen though, and so we've got a lot of penalty points on the side of Wave Riders finally.
Yeah, we saw that Wave Riders was able to get all the way down to 17 because Insquidious, looking at the overheads, they just went in alone a lot of times. They didn't really have each other's backs, so they were easily picked off by Wave Riders, though they finally managed to scrap out a few picks and get control back. But another 1v1, and that's going to be a Zap versus a K52. That's not great. K52 getting another. The Dynamo leaving themselves wide open, and this 52 is going to easily be able to take the zone back, popping the Booyah just to make sure. That probably wasn't necessary considering how much of a player advantage they had. They could have saved that Booyah to start their lockout. But now Wave Riders is going to be in a good position. There's still 1 down on Insquidious, and they're chewing through their penalty, and though Insquidious does have specials ready, they'll be quickly taken down, and there's more specials online for Wave Riders. This looks like it could be a KO right here.
Yeah, that Dynamo, unfortunately, they had that Booyah Bomb at the ready. They were able to bomb zone, but it just didn't work out for them. That Booyah gonna get immediately painted over, and now that all those penalty points are gone, and 3 down with the K-Dynamo being the only one remaining, they get that 1 pick. They have the Booyah, but they're not able to fire it off before they're killed, and that's going to be the first game for Wave Riders.
Yeah, and I mean, if you saw the KA at the top, Wave Riders led it by like a large margin in terms of how many kills they were getting. And I think a lot of what Insquidious struggled with was just getting picks and just winning those 1v1 fights.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, especially with the K Dynamo. Sometimes a weapon like that can really struggle, especially against a team that plays really, really quickly. I mean, you saw them get picks when they were able to use their range and when they were able to get set up, but sometimes it just got rushed down, and sometimes that's all you can really do.
Yeah, the remix didn't help. Like, the range advantage left the Dynamo exposed a lot of places, and even with the short range weapons, the Dynamo was just... We saw how many times they'd go for something, but they'd be mid-swing, and one of the faster killing weapons just took them down like that.
All right, now we're going to be moving on to Snapper Canal Rainmaker. This one, if the previous map mode was one you don't see all the time, this one I see all the time, everywhere, every single tournament. It follows me around. I cannot get rid of it.
I thought that was Snapper Clams, but I suppose
Both
Snapper
of them.
Rainmaker is also...
Snapper, Snapper's everywhere.
I mean, it's not a bad map for... Since people don't seem to want to play Triggerfish, which in some cases is the real test of whether you can coordinate splitting up your team, Snapper Canal is the closest we get a lot of tournaments to seeing how well you can coordinate, just having to push in a lot of weird ways, having to potentially split up your team to get an opening.
Triggerfish zone supremacy, but that
helps a lot.
that is my own opinion and not the opinion of anyone else in this this organization. We just really like Triggerfish zones, man. Go play that more often.
We've been converted by the Kraken Mare.
That is true. That is true. But Rainmaker, really, you have 3 routes to push pretty much on this map. You got the far left route, the uninkable, the sneaky way, and then you have the just straight down through mid. And sometimes that can get really difficult to push through, especially because it's quite literally an uphill battle, and the members of the opposing team are gonna have that height advantage when you're trying to go up that sloped surface. But if you have something like bubbles or umbrella shield that you can use to tank your damage while you're going up, that becomes suddenly a lot easier.
Yeah, like you said about uphill battle, a lot of this map is just controlling those hills, whether it be the ones in your opponent's side so that you can push up, or the ones on your side that you can't defend. But having the height advantage helps. And we got a ballpoint spotlight coming out.
Ooh.
Let's go! And that's going to be the vanilla ballpoint, so Mist and Inkjet, which I think is a good pick here, because the Mist is going to help so much in taking advantage of those chokes to slow the members of Insquidious down. Though I like that vanilla Dapple pick. I honestly would have gone with Dapple's Nouveau because of the Mist, like I said about the...
You play Dapple's Nouveau, you're biased.
Yes, but the Bomb Rush will also help, and beacons on a map like this could be very useful, given how many different places the members of Insquidious might have to reposition through, but the Dapples aren't going to help much if they're dead, and that's 2 down with 1 respawn, and another 1 down on Insquidious, and this is looking like Wave Riders is going to finish this off very quickly. The Zap got 5 KA in the first, 30 seconds. That was a very quick game and a very well-executed push by Wave Riders.
And that is what you call a Rainmaker moment. Sometimes, all it takes is that 1 push, and if you knock it out, your opponents don't have any chance at, coming back. You just win the game. And like you said, there's that Zap's 5 KA. Pretty impressive considering that match only lasted 50 seconds.
Yeah, and as much as, the Dapple Nouveaus, or the V-Dapple's beacons and, the Dynamo's area control could have helped Insquidious, they just didn't get the chance to set up. They lost Pop early, which doesn't matter as much on Snapper's other maps, but from there, Wave Riders just pushed and pushed hard and kept going, and I don't know if Insquidious was really ready for that.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens like that. It's really unfortunate. We're going to be moving on for our final match of this set, Clam Blitz on Humpback Pump Track. And this one, the Dynamo, I'm very excited to see this Dynamo in action here.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best maps for that Dynamo, in terms of being able to use all the slopes to their advantage. The problem being, though, there's some good spots for the Splatling to set up, and there's a lot of open sight lines in this map. So that Dynamo is going to have to be incredibly careful about how they position, or they're just going to get lasered again and again and again.
Yeah,
so
you win some, you lose some.
It really might not work out in their favor unless they have other teammates keeping the Splatling from being able to pressure them.
That is true. I mean, you know, like both of these weapons can work really well here, and especially with if that heavy remix comes back, we'll be seeing those Booyah bombs, which can be really helpful on Humpback Pump Track. And so I do want to see that Dynamo in action, though. I really hope that their teammates can play around that and really enable the Dynamo, because sometimes that gets, you know, enabling a weapon that's really powerful can be really advantageous for your comp.
Yeah, I think that's really what Insquidious does have to do, like you said. They've been losing a lot of those close-range shooter fights, and the shooters and more aggressive weapons generally of Wave Riders have just been walking all over them. But if they can get the Dynamo set up, their enemy shooters are not going to be able to reach, and are just going to get squished. And as long as that Splatling's dead, that's going to be a very large advantage for Insquidious. It's just going to come down to, can they do that, and they're still going to have to win some of their shooter fights.
Yeah, I mean, I would really just love to see Insquidious both, like, step it up just a little bit in terms of, like you said, those short 1v1s, and they don't even have to be 1v1s. Sometimes it's all about, you know, like, helping your teammate, making that into a 2v1, and that can get really important, especially here. Sometimes you see a lot of short-range weapons, like tries getting pulled out, taking advantage of a lot of the little crevices in this map, and so those firefights can become really important.
I was about to say that Wave Riders is probably going to bring out a Tri-Slodger, and then realize, wait, no, they're not Ocean 7. But maybe the org of Ocean 7 teams just has a rule that says you gotta play Tri-Slodger.
You gotta play Try sometimes.
And instead we've got the Dynamo coming, a switch up here. The Dynamo coming out for Wave Riders, while Insquidious brings out the Splatling and a Brush, which is an equally good weapon to enable, but that's a lot of midline pressure from Wave Riders and a lot of high damage weapons. It might be difficult for that Brush to do much of anything unless their zaps can really get the paint going.
We've also got Drop Roller on that Zap, which is a little bit of a curious ability choice in my opinion, but ooh, we've got quick 2 downs on the side of both teams, actually. Both Splatlings going down, and that's a full wipe on the side of Wave Riders. You can see the Booyahs coming out, a little bit of a celebratory Booyah from this Brush here. They're gonna take that and dunk that Clam in now, and they have that Ancient at the ready too, and nice. I think they probably meant to pop that on the ground, but no worries, they do find that assist, and they're using that to put on a lot of pressure on Wave Riders right now. Unfortunately, Insquidious doesn't get any follow-up on that, so they are only at 80 right now, but still, that was really nice taking advantage of that wipe that they had.
Yeah, I really would like to see that Brush, instead of rotating back toward mid, just kept going left away from the basket toward that corner area and launching Inkjet from there, because they could have got a lot higher and they would have been in a much better place to put pressure on Wave Riders and potentially allow their team to score more points. But that was still a good push, and that was probably some of the most control we've seen from Insquidious of the match since the first game.
Yeah, that was quite nice though, and now that we've got a little bit of more balance in mid, you know, but we have a lot of clams still on the side of Insquidious, and they're trying to maintain turf control here, but unfortunately with that Zap going down, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. They are playing double Zap though, which somehow I just noticed, and as I speak, both Zaps unfortunately go down. Ooh, but that auto bomb pick, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, and the Brush is at 8k right now. 9. This is the comeback that Insquidious needs, if not to win the set, at least to get some more points on the board for their group stage rankings. And
oh yeah, that's still very important.
Just a bit on the back foot, though the Brush goes down again. And the special volume, there's a lot more specials coming out of Wave Riders.
Yeah, I think Wave Riders
not a lot more, but there's definitely an armor advantage for Wave Riders, considering they have 2 armors and...
Oh. Yeah, Wave Riders is almost biding their time, and you can see they almost had that opening there, but unfortunately, with going 2 down, I believe they've just decided not to push up, which is likely wise of them, because I don't think that would go well. But we're heading to the second half of this match, and I think that Wave Riders is looking for that opening that they want to have. They want to have a similar position like a wipe or a 3 down so that they can get a big push, so that they can get a follow-up on that clam, but it's just not happening for them right now, especially as all of these clams on the side of Insquidious looks like they're trying to set up for another push here, although unfortunately their clam carrier does go down.
Yeah, the Dynamo, like you said, did Dynamo things. They kept control of the whole area, and it was just so hard for Insquidious to push, and now they're forced back to their own basket. They're fighting under the basket of Insquidious. They will get the score, but they're going to go 3 down, and I don't think the Dynamo has any clams, or they get the power barely. That will be lead for Wave Riders, but Insquidious can certainly come back. They've already got 8 clams. They'll have the pity. If they get a few picks here, they will easily get lead back.
Oh, definitely. And so it's all in the name of, you know, trying to get those picks. We've got the missiles coming out from the Zap here. That Octobrush also has armor, and they have a lot of clams on their side, so they could very well make this lead a really big one if they decide to take it back. With that Nautilus down, they're not gonna... Oh, the suction bomb pick, I think, from the opposing Zap is going to put them at a disadvantage. And now Insquidious does still have those specials online. They have the armor inkjet combo. They had those Booyah bombs come out, but it feels like they're members are going down before they can take advantage of their specials. And now we have a lot of the members of Wave Riders in mid trying to get things done. Dynamo getting taken out. Another trade though from the Nautilus, and so we're really seeing just a stalemate right here as both teams trade back and forth. And I'd like to point out that Brush has 16 KA right now.
Yeah, that was a good push, or at least an attempt at a push for Insquidious, but it just failed because they didn't wait. They got too antsy and they popped their specials early, and it just hurt them in the end because they couldn't pop them all in a coordinated fashion, so it really hurt them. So it looks like finally they're getting the picks. Their opponents have slipped up and they're gonna get the score here. They've got a lot of clams ready, but the Knot's gonna pick the Brush, who had most of the clams there.
Oh, this
Only
Knot!
two more to go in. The power
Goodness, the triple is gonna make it the quad. Wow, not quite the quad, but that is a triple plus an assist, and that completely shuts down that last minute push from Insidious, meaning we are 60 to 64 right now, and unless we get a power on the side of Insquidious, that is going to spell the end of the game. We're ticking down the seconds. They're trying to make something happen, but it's not going to happen. And so close, but yet so far, Wave Riders is going to take that third game for a 3-0 set.
That Knot saved the entire game.
Wow.
If that Brush stayed up, they had like 7 clams, I think. That easily would have lead and change. And despite an amazing performance from the Brush, Wave Riders just had more control of the game. Like, they might not have had like the crazy pop-offs kill-wise, but they did a good job. They still got a lot of kills. They did a good job just coordinating their specials and keeping paint on the ground.
Definitely. I mean, that right there is the definition of a successful hero play. You go in and somehow you single-handedly get that beautiful triple and the kill on the super jump with your teammates, and you save that game. That was amazing on their part. But like you said, also stellar performance from that Brush here, and a really nice showing from both teams. You're seeing a little bit of a rewind right now. I honestly, I love seeing the replay clips. It's one of my favorite things about these streams, where you can just relive these moments, these really cool moments of the matches.
Like, it's nice to see. Maybe you missed it the first time, and you get to see the second time what actually happened. Like, this time we have Wave Riders just getting that hold, getting the KO, and the members of Insquidious just kind of rushing in and not really getting anything.
Yeah, unfortunate on their part. Well, that was a really nice set, and I believe after this we will be taking just a short break before we go into the next set. So yeah, you guys can enjoy these replay clips that we're seeing from this set, and we'll be right back.